Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. I am the voice for today's Corona del Sol versus Mountain View softball game. First, we're going to take a look at a few sponsors.
Hey everyone, I'm David Lopez from the University of Florida with the Varsity Sports Show, and I'm here to talk about the 2024 MLB World Tour and its first ever stop in the Dominican Republic. The MLB has expanded its efforts each year to make baseball a global game, with this year's tour taking stops in South Korea, Mexico, the United Kingdom, and of course, the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is a country with a rich baseball history and culture, a country that has produced Hall of Famers such as Pedro Martinez, Vladimir Guerrero, David Ortiz, and future Hall of Famer Albert Pujols. The MLB has hosted 3 baseball expositions since 1999 in the Dominican Republic and has already set up baseball education and training programs throughout the country. This year's event serves to honor the MLB players that made a name for themselves in the Dominican Republic and celebrate the country's impact on baseball as a whole. Dominican players already make up over 10% of players in the MLB, and this stop of the World Tour helps add more infrastructure and legitimacy to the baseball programs within the DR. This year's Dominican Republic Series featured the Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays, who played games on March 9th and 10th this year in the Estadio Quisqueya in Santo Domingo. In the first game on March 9th, Red Sox legends and Dominican Republic natives David Ortiz and Pedro Martinez threw out the honorary first pitch before a 4-0 Red Sox win. There were more fireworks the next day, however, in a 7-6 win for the Red Sox to sweep the spring training series, punctuated by a grand slam from Red Sox third baseman Bobby Dalbec and a save by Santo Domingo native Joely Rodriguez. In a weekend headlined by bands and drum lines performing around the stadium, raucous fans excited to see their favorite sport played at the highest level, and a celebration of a country with a deep love for the sport, the MLB's World Tour took its most memorable stop in the Dominican Republic just 2 weeks ago. Once again, I'm David Lopez from the University of Florida, signing off, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
Pup on the run? No problem. With 5 drive modes, Road makes this a walk in the park.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get the 2023 Nissan Rogue with best-in-class fuel economy among gas engines.
Hello everybody, this is Jonathan Melendez from Arizona State University, and for this week's segment we're going to be talking about the origins of March Madness and the fact that the Final Four will be held in Phoenix, Arizona this year.
March basketball and the madness it brings comes around every year. Millions of people around the world create their brackets in hopes of being the one to maintain a clean sheet, only to inevitably have it busted the first day of the tournament. Being one of the most viewed tournaments every single year, averaging 10 million viewers a game, many might still wonder how this yearly event came about. For those not familiar, March Madness is a Division I basketball tournament that started by the NCAA, the National Collegiate Athletic Association, in 1939. Originally, 8 teams competed in the first NCAA tournament, with Oregon being the first title winner after beating Ohio State in the 1939 finals. Despite the tournament's early roots in 1939, the term March Madness didn't become associated with the NCAA until Brent Musburger, sportscaster for CBS at the time, popularized the term during the 1982 tournament following multiple big upsets the evening he was calling games. In an interview with The Rich Eisen Show, Musburger revealed how the term originated from one statement where he recalled saying this.
But I had a board physically where I actually put names of the teams up and everything, and it was a late one Thursday evening after the opening games, and I said, we had a couple of big upsets late that night out of the West Coast, and I said, folks, this is madness. This is March Madness. Now,
from then on, the term just stuck with fans and other media members. Musburger himself, however, became familiar with the term, which began with an executive official of the Illinois High School Association first using the phrase in the IHSA magazine. In the 90s, the NCAA sought to trademark the term but was unsuccessful, as IHSA had already trademarked the term but eventually bought out their ownership share. The tournament has now expanded to its current size of 64 teams, with local teams like Arizona State University, University of Arizona, and Grand Canyon University earning a spot into the men's tournament last year. This year, the University of Arizona men's team is the local favorite to make a deep run into the madness with the team positioned at number 5 among all collegiate basketball teams. The Final Four, which is the term coined by the NCAA to represent the last 4 teams standing at the end of the tournament, will be held in Arizona with tip-off being on April 6, 2024 in State Farm Stadium. The last time Arizona hosted the Final Four was back in 2017 with North Carolina, Gonzaga, Oregon, and South Carolina being 4 teams standing that year. This has been Jonathan Melendez from Arizona State University. Thank you for listening.
It started in the city.
It started on a sandlot.
It started on a Sunday.
The focus.
The drive.
The dream.
You knew how it felt.
You knew we needed the tools necessary.
You knew we needed funds to travel to tournaments.
You provided me with the best equipment.
You gave me opportunity.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
You see us every day with our ads about car wrecks. But Lerner & Rowe is much more than just a law firm. We believe in being part of the fabric of the communities where we practice around the country. We are not just a business. We are your neighbors, here to serve and share our love of our community. Lerner & Rowe Gives Back provides food and support for families and community organizations throughout the year. Our hope is that we can encourage other businesses to do the same, so we can build a stronger community together. Lerner & Rowe, more than just a law firm.
It started in the city.
It started on a sandlot.
It started on a Sunday.
The focus.
The drive.
The dream.
You knew how it felt.
You knew we needed the tools necessary.
You knew we needed funds to travel to tournaments.
You provided me with the best equipment.
You gave me opportunity.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
It's a cloudy day here in Mesa, Arizona at Mountain View High School, and we are just moments away from the start of the matchup between Corona del Sol and Mountain View High School girls varsity softball. I am Alexandra Medina here with Kobe Bronstein for the Varsity Sports Show. Kobe, both Corona del Sol and Mountain View High School are very close in record. How are you feeling like this game's going to go today?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the flip of a coin, it really could go either way in terms of Mountain View's record, 6-10 overall. As you mentioned, Corona del Sol's overall record of 5-11. Both teams in this 6A conference in slightly different divisions. Also, another thing to point out for Corona del Sol is that all of their victories, believe it or not, have come at neutral sites. They're 0-4 at home. They're 0-5 on the road. They're looking to change that and make it 1-5 today at Mountain View, and both teams are playing for the first time this season.
That's right, Kobe, and it's going to be a very close game. Both teams were here preparing very early in this game. I saw Mountain View over in the cages, and Corona was working on their outfield skills out there. So we're going to see how today goes. A very close record, as I mentioned. Corona del Sol is ranked 59th in Arizona, Mountain View 90th. So we're going to see how today goes. Today's starting pitcher is Brenna Campos. And the first batter of today's game is number 3 for Corona del Sol, Kaylee Pequeno.
Yeah, and then to follow, number 1, the center fielder, Sage Peters for Corona del Sol. Batting third, Abby Rickart. In the cleanup spot, Michaela Tamaro, the designated player. Batting fifth, Jamie Sheehan playing right field. Then 6, 7, 8, 9 go Brooke Sheehan, Sienna Mraz, Gemma Jones, and Leah Montenegro playing shortstop.
And we're just moments away from today's start of this matchup between Mountain View High School and Corona del Sol. Brandon Campos getting ready for the first pitch of today's game versus Pequeno. A ball.
And how about let's take a look around the Mountain View Toros infield and outfield. Sylvester at first, Bark at second. At shortstop, it's Goodman, and at third base, Metcalf. Then right to left in the outfield, it goes as follows: Cameron, Benjamin, and Dinyazi.
Right down the middle, that's a strike.
It's a good pitch to bounce back for. First one rolled in the dirt, went all the way to the backstop, and it's a nice way to settle in to get your first strike.
Another ball towards the left side. 2 balls, 1 strike. Campos trying to find her sweet spot there in the catcher's mitt. And Pequeno hits it to second, but it's going to get passed to the first base of Mountain View, Brinley Benjamin, and it's the first out for Mountain View Toros.
Yeah, it's a routine 4-3 putout from Bark to Sylvester right there. Good job on the mound from Campos to battle back after a couple of dribblers towards the plate to her catcher Eaton. But again, got to feel good getting the first out after you're facing your first batter.
Campos getting ready for her first pitch against Sage Peters, the outfielder, and it's a strike. Correction, it was actually a ball. 1 ball, 1 out here in the first inning. Campos finds a strike, 1-1, and Peters looking for the perfect pitch to try to find her way to make the bases. Another ball on the inside, down low.
And to 2 right-handed batters, looking low in the zone, trying to catch mostly the inner half of the zone, just missing the mark on 2 pitches so far in this at-bat.
Peters hits it towards the left field, hits the fence. She's rounding first on her way to second, slides, and the ball is back at the mound. She was able to make it to second. And now we're going to see Michaela Tamaro take the batter's box.
That was a great piece of hitting there by Sage Peters. That ball up in the zone on a high ball from the pitcher Campos and went all the way to the left field wall. So a great start offensively, and they're able to get their first runner in scoring position are the Aztecs.
Abby Richard hits it to shortstop, and it's an out. Peters still at second.
Yeah, that's when you want for a pitcher after surrendering an extra base hit. Again, a double off the bat of Sage Peters, but you're able to bounce back with another ground out. So make it 2 ground outs in the first 3 batters, 2 outs. They got to worry about that runner on second and Peters, however.
Michaela Tamaro looking to hit Peters to third. One strike, 0 balls. That one was high towards the right side, and that's a ball. 1 strike, 1 ball. Peters at second base looking to find third, and there's 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Tamaro hits it in between center and right. Peters rounding the bases, and that's an RBI for Tamaro. She makes it to second.
Yeah, 2 doubles here in the top of the first. So early Mountain View in a little bit of a hole, able to get 2 outs before that. And also Tamaro stopping at first base. She thought that the ball was going to be corralled by the center fielder in Benjamin, but it went all the way to the right center field wall, and she advances another base as a result.
Right now we're going to see Jamie Sheehan in the batter's box. And there's a first strike. Tamaro taking a big lead off of second base. 2 outs here in the top of the first inning at Mountain View High School. Sheehan right to Campos. Campos throws to first base. Benjamin, and that's 3 outs. And the Mountain View Toros will get their gloves. Or will get their bats, I'm sorry. We're going to actually head to a break right now. We will be back in a few moments.
I'm Mason Collins with Varsity Sports, here to talk about the men's 2024 Final Four, which is set to take place right here in Phoenix, Arizona. With an action-packed tournament starting March 19th, this year's tournament could be more chaotic than ever. In last year's men's Final Four, the UConn Huskies won in dominating fashion against all of the teams they played, including San Diego State to win the national championship 76-59. But what stood out the most from the tournament last year was all the upsets that occurred. Any team can win no matter what seed they are. Fairleigh Dickinson, who came into the tournament as a 16 seed, shocked the world, taking out the number 1 seed Purdue Boilermakers in a game they looked simply better. They were the second 1 seed ever to lose to a 16 seed. The UMBC Retrievers were the first to do it in 2018 against Virginia. There have been plenty of surprising teams making runs to the Sweet 16 or even the Elite 8. St. Peter's in 2022, Oral Roberts in 2021, both were 15 seeds. Florida Atlantic, a 9 seed, were one of the 4 teams in last year's Final Four. This was the first time they ever made it in program history. This year's projected top teams in the tournament are familiar to last year. Purdue will be a 1 seed led by potential National Player of the Year Zach Edey. Houston is once again a top seed after stumbling to Miami in the Sweet 16. Arizona is looking to make a quick trip to Phoenix after losing to 15 seed Princeton in the first round. There are plenty of top seeds hoping to bounce back from last year's unexpected endings. If one thing's for certain, this tournament will have a roller coaster of up and downs, with one side celebrating in the air and the other side.
We are back here at Mountain View High School in Mesa, Arizona. Right now, Alicia Munoz on Corona del Sol pitching against Keely Goodman, the shortstop for Mountain View. The first pitch was a ball, and Munoz looking to find the strike zone here. Right now, 1-0, Corona del Sol up. Munoz pitches down low, a second ball against her.
Yeah, Brenna Campos, the pitcher, surrendering 1 earned run on 2 extra base hits that went to the right center field wall and the left field wall, respectively. Able to settle down to get all 3 outs, leaving a runner on second base and Tamaro stranded.
And Goodman is not liking any of these, and that is a third ball against Munoz.
Yeah, definitely a hitter's count. If she gets the green light, maybe she'll swing the bat. If not, she'll keep it the barrel on her shoulders.
Munoz winds up, and she does find her strike zone. That's a strike. And Goodman swings but misses as it's on the outside of the plate. Right now, full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes, and Goodman looking to make her way towards the bases. And a strike. She was caught looking, and she's out.
How about that? A way to battle back after falling behind in the count, 3 balls and no strikes to get 3 straight strikes and able to fool the batter Goodman on that high ball up and in.
And Munoz winds up. She finds the strike zone. The first strike against Mountain View's number 1, Brinley Benjamin. And Benjamin looking for one she likes. Doesn't like that one, but it is called as a strike.
That's a really good pitch there. The first at bat to Goodman fell behind 3 balls and no strikes. This one able to get ahead and quickly 0-2. Benjamin going to have to protect at the plate in order to stay alive.
Munoz and swung by Benjamin, and she's out. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning at Mountain View High School in Mesa, Arizona. And now up to bat, Tiara Metcalf, third base for Mountain View. And she is looking to score some points here for Mountain View. Munoz pitches, and a little bit on the outside, that's a ball. Munoz right down the middle and finds it, but it doesn't make it towards the field. And right now, 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. And another strike.
Yeah, that's just a great location when she was able to get the strikeout of Brinley Benjamin, painting the outside corner right around the knees, and did just that in identical fashion here against Metcalf.
She has definitely found her strike zone. Munoz winds up down the middle, but it's going to be ruled as a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Metcalf swings, and that's an out. And Kobe, so far, it's been a very, very competitive game. Munoz has found her strike zone, and Mountain View has really been able to hold them on the defensive side. I know right now Corona del Sol is up by 1, but it is a very interactive game here at Mountain View High School. Kobe, after watching that first inning, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great here in the broadcasting booth, and we just saw a great display of pitching from the starter of Corona del Sol and Munoz. Fell behind in the first at bat, 3-0, able to bounce back and get a swinging, or rather a strikeout looking, and then after that, she followed that up with 2 more strikeouts. So dominance really through the first frame of work for Munoz to Corona del Sol. And in terms of Campos on the side of Mountain View, not able to get a strikeout, able to get a trio of groundouts, as well as surrendering a run, an earned run, as well as 2 doubles that went to the right field and left field wall. So settling in rather nicely, but more of a better job from Munoz here. But Campos looking to correct the wrong in terms of keeping Corona del Sol off the scoring sheet here in the second inning.
And Campos getting ready for the first pitch of the second inning against Brooke Sheehan, the second fielder for Corona. And Campos winds up, but finds the top of the pitcher's glove. That's the catcher's glove. That's going to be a ball for the first strike in the second inning. Campos pitches the same spot, second ball, 2 balls, 0 strikes right now against Sheehan. And another ball for Campos. Campos finds a strike against Sheehan for the first time in this game. Sheehan hits it right to second base, a pop-up, and it is caught by the second baseman, and that is Eliza Bark. And Sheehan will make her way back to the dugout as number 18 for Corona del Sol comes out.
It's a great job pitching again from Campos, falling behind in the count, 3 balls and no strikes, able to battle back with a strike and then get a weak pop-up to the second baseman and Bark, able to routinely make the catch, and it's a good feeling there, except not a great one here after she hit the batter in Sienna Meras, and that's how she stands at first.
And now number 8 for Corona del Sol makes her way to the batter's box. That's Gemma Jones, the third baseman for Corona. And Meraz is at first base. Campos finds a strike, and Mraz took a big lead off of first base, but didn't see any signs of going. Jones hits the ball to the second baseman. Second baseman misses it, and now there's a runner at first and second as number 6 for Corona makes her way into the batter's box. That's Leah Montenegro, the shortstop for Corona.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate circumstance there if you're Mountain View because you're trying to feel the play in terms of bark at second base and at least get the lead runner in what would be a forced attempt at second, but instead both runners are safe and what will definitely go down is an E4 assessed to Eliza Bark.
A first strike against Montenegro. Montenegro hits it past shortstop right in front of center, and it moves the bases, and she makes it to first. And that brings up Kaylee Pequeno, the outfielder for Corona del Sol, and she's going to be looking to bring in some runs.
Yeah, she's in a massive spot. 0 for 1 today after grounding out to the second baseman, but the bases are loaded and one out, so potentially a ground out could get a force out at home, and because the bases are juiced, that brings in the infield.
And hit right underneath shortstop's gloves, and Mraz will make it home, and that puts the score at 2-0, and the Aztecs are up.
That's an RBI single off the bat of Kaylee Pequeno. That's now 4 straight batters that have reached for the Aztecs, and they're rolling here as they put another run on the board and up their lead to 2-0.
And Peters back in the box. Does not like it, but it is called a strike.
And with the bases still loaded, Alex, the infield from right to left, and Sylvester, Bark, Goodman, and Metcalf all in, anticipating a potential ground out that they could throw to their catcher in Eaton to get the lead runner.
Peters does not like that one, and it is a second strike. Peters watches, and it's the first ball in her count. And hit towards third baseman. Third throws it home, but it's overthrown, which brings in number 6 and number 8. And now we are here with, I believe that's 4-0.
Yeah, it's going to bump the lead to 4-0. And as I mentioned earlier, in terms of the defense tactically from Mountain View, they played it perfectly because they had the infield in with the bases loaded. The throw just a little bit errant, so that's going to be 2 errors now on Mountain View, this time from Metcalf on the sailed throw at third base.
And Campos finds a ball. And that is against Richard, the first baseman for Corona del Sol. Hit over the second base in between center and right. Richard makes her way to second as 2 runners come in, number 1 Peters and number 3 Pequeno. Right now in the second inning with 1 out, and that brings number 10 Tamaro up to the plate.
Yeah, that was just a scorcher off the bat that time of Abby Ricker, and that's how she stands on second. It brings 2 more home. So, and what was a 1-0 score after one frame, it's now 6-0 here, and the floodgates have certainly been opened up. Also got a pinch runner at second base, Rickert coming out after the double.
Campos finds a strike against Tamaro.
pinch runner at second is Bracice James, is the junior Aztec.
And on the outside, but ruled a strike.
It's a good change of pace pitch right there. A changeup, not exactly that high ball or one that's going to be sizzling past one of the Aztec batters, and she's able to move the count to 0-2.
Tamro fouls that one, but she stays in there.
We're also now reaching the middle of the lineup, so all of these hitters have already seen Campos on the mound, and I know it's early in the game, but always in the second time around, it's a little bit different.
Tamaro pops that one up, and it will go out. A foul ball. And she will get her bat back to try and make her way to first base and move the runner at second base.
Yeah, Tamaro's connecting with the ball well. First one, or actually both were sprayed out into left field. That one a lot closer to the left field line, but just barely foul as she's really right on it.
Tamaro to the pitcher and Campos to third and misses the tag. The runner will be safe and Tamaro will take first base. Number 2 for Corona del Sol, Sheehan, will come back to the plate.
And just going back to that play for a second, Campos able to field the grounder cleanly, did the right thing, and again trying to get the lead runner at third base. The throw in time and a hard slide that time popped the ball in and out of the glove of Metcalf, and that's how we have runners in the corners now. Again, a little bit of an unfortunate set of circumstances here as Mountain View now has 3 errors.
A strike against Sheehan. Campos pitches, and another strike towards the outside. Actually, that one is going to be ruled as a ball. Sheehan hits to shortstop, shortstop to second, and that's an out. And now number 4, Sheehan will actually come up to bat. And I believe that last batter was actually Peters. Or
no, I think there's 2 Sheehans in this lineup. We got Jamie Sheehan, who stands on first after the fielder's choice. This time it's Brooke Sheehan playing second base, and Jamie Sheehan, fielder's choice. Grounder over to the shortstop. Goodman, she gets it on to Bark for 1 out, and that's how we have the aforementioned Jamie Sheehan on first base, her sister, up in the batter's box.
Brooke Sheehan sees a strike for the first pitch. And hits to third, and it is going to be caught at first for the out, and that was number 11 for Mountain View who got that out. Yeah. And we're going to head to a break.
Good evening or good afternoon to everyone watching this rendition of the Varsity Sports Show. My name is Nash Dare and I'm a student at Arizona State University studying sports journalism at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. This week I was given the opportunity of getting some really good videos of the amenities and great opportunities provided from this prestigious school. So let's go into the building and go check it out. First, let's check out the classrooms here. The classrooms and lectures halls have state-of-the-art features that help students succeed. The classrooms are all suited with MacBooks and projectors, while the lecture halls have seats with chargers connected to them, along with television monitors and more. When you first enter the second floor, you walk into the Walter Cronkite Community Forum, which is a spot for students to talk with each other and relax while in between or before classes. There are 4 huge televisions that display the news from all over, and it's a perfect spot to relax before class or get some last-minute studying in before your big exam. Next are the media bays. The media bays are a more secluded area that also have MacBooks as well as attached microphones, where students can edit video and sound as on the attached Adobe feature.
And we are back with some Mountain View Toros softball. Now Sylvester, the first baseman for the Toros, will take the batter's box against Munoz, who is trying to find which pitch she should throw. And
Just got a quick stoppage of play here, but going back to that last inning, Munoz on the mound, she was sitting for a while as there were 6 runs that came on the board for Corona del Sol.
Munoz pitches, and Sylvester hits it towards left, and the shortstop is able to pick that one up. And first out here for Corona del Sol.
Yeah, Munoz doing a good job of jamming the batter in Sylvester. She liked the first pitch that she saw, and she was able to weakly pop it up to Montenegro, moving over to her right to make the catch.
Tatum Eaton now in the batter's box, but that is a ball. Munoz trying to decide what pitch she should throw, and Eaton does not like it. It will be counted as a ball, second ball, and 0 strikes here for Eaton. Eaton fouls it towards left field.
Just wanted to point out, too, that this is the 4th batter up for Mountain View, or check that actually the 5th batter up in the catcher, Tatum Eaton. And for Corona del Sol's lineup, the 5th batter in their lineup, which is Jamie Sheehan's already come up twice to the plate. So this is just only the very first appearance for Eaton, as well as the middle half and what will then be the bottom half of the Toros lineup.
And another ball against Munoz is record. And right now, Eaton looking to find a way to get onto base with 3 balls and 1 strike. Eaton hits it to the shortstop, but caught by number 6, Montenegro. And that will send number 29 on Mountain View, Bark, up to the batter's box.
Montenegro positioned beautifully there at shortstop. That was a bullet off the bat of Eaton, able to make the backhanded catch in order to put her team at 2 outs here in the bottom of the second.
And Bark didn't like that one. It's another ball. Munoz winds up, pitches, and Bark swings on the outside pitch, and it is ruled a strike.
That's a great location there. That one looked like there was a little bit of movement as opposed to a higher velocity high ball, and she's able to get Bark to chase on that one.
Bark watches that one go right down the middle, and right now, 2-1. One and two here for Bark. Bark swings, and she's out.
Munoz is rolling here for Corona del Sol, make it 4 strikeouts after 2 innings, able to get the first 2 after lineouts to the shortstop in Montenegro. 7-0 score for the visiting side, Corona del Sol. We'll head to a break, back up in the bottom of the third. Going to be the Mountain View Bats. Rather, Corona del Sol Bats.
Make every day game day and never miss a moment from your favorite team with the AZ Preps 365 Live High School Sports app. The official app for all Arizona high school sports teams gives fans instant access to up-to-the-minute scores, news, highlights, and much more. Customize the app to fit your needs, whether you're a student, coach, parent, or player. Download it now for free. Available in both the Google Play Store and Apple App Store.
Pup on the run? No problem. With 5 drive modes, Road makes this a walk in the park.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get the 2023 Nissan Rogue with best-in-class fuel economy among gas engines.
And Campos back on the mound, going to be pitching against number 18 for Corona del Sol, Mraz, the first and third baseman. And she's looking to find her strike zone, and she does not. A ball against Mraz for the first pitch in the third inning.
Yeah, and the last time Campos took the mound, it was a little bit of a rough inning. She allowed 6 runs, not all of them earned because there were 3 different fielding errors in that inning.
Campos fires in a strike against Mraz. Mraz towards the pitcher, passed, and the shortstop Fields throws to first, and that's an out.
That's a really nice play right there made by Goodman, moving all the way over to her left. She needed to take the time just to field it and then to be able to transfer the ball from her glove to her hand and get the out at first to Sylvester. Very impressive.
And that will send number 8, Jones, to the batter's box. Campos winds up and fouled by Jones.
Last time we saw Gemma Jones up in the prior inning, she was the back half of 6 different batters reaching for Corona del Sol. They almost batted around. And again, the lead has swelled to 7-0.
Jones hits it to right field and caught by Mountain View's right fielder, Abby Cameron. And here comes Montenegro to the batter's box.
Yeah, first time that Cameron has gotten some defensive action here in the bottom, or rather the top of the third inning. She's positioned beautifully on that one in right to make the catch, and easy inning so far.
Montenegro likes the first one, hit to third and third to first with the catch by Sylvester, and that's 3 outs. And we're going to head to a break after that very quick inning by the Mountain View Toros.
This is Ella Walter Sanchez from Arcadia High School reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. With baseball season starting up at all levels, I wanted to highlight a training center that offers affordable lessons for both baseball and softball nationwide and in the Valley. There are 4 locations around the Valley and 150 nationwide. Today, I'm here specifically at the Scottsdale location located on Talking Stick and Pima Road.
Facility, we have a few different options. Open to the public. We also offer memberships that definitely save some money for you guys. To the public, we're looking at machine. So whenever you walk in, we have automatic pitching machines. We also have private cages that you can reserve in increments of 30, 60 minutes, bucket of balls, tee, L screen. You can take batting practice in there, those sort of things. And then as far as lessons and instruction, we have a handful of baseball and softball instructors, do everything from infield, outfield, hitting, catching, basically anything you're looking to work on.
At DBAT Scottsdale, they offer more than 50 camps, clinics, and classes each year, which is a great opportunity for aspiring baseball and softball players. With spring break coming up, DBATS is offering a spring break camp from the 11th through the 15th for children ages 6 through 12. What is so great...
Munoz pitches against number 9 of the Mountain View Toros, Davis, and it's a strike. Munoz cannot find the strike zone on that one, as it's more towards the outside portion of the strike zone, and it's the first ball against Davis. Davis hits it, and it is sent towards the third base dugout, and she'll get another chance to send it in the field.
Yeah, Munoz through 2 innings has been outstanding. 4 strikeouts, hasn't allowed a single base runner so far for the home side Toros.
Munoz does not find the strike zone on that one, and there's a full count here against Davis. Actually, it's 2-2. And Davis will strike out.
That was sorry, Alex. That was a nasty breaking ball from Munoz. She now has 5 strikeouts on the afternoon, but she's certainly mixing it up well and firing on all cylinders against the Toros. Again, 5 strikeouts in the first 8 batters that she's faced.
That will bring Cameron up to the plate, the junior right fielder, to try to make her way onto a base. And too high for Cameron.
That time goes back to the fastball, but goes back to that point to where she is just, again, firing on all cylinders so far, catching every part of the strike zone, working it well as she takes a look at her pitch sheet once again, certainly helping her early on.
Cameron swings, and that's 2 strikes against Cameron. Cameron battles, and it's sent towards the first baseman's side, but a foul ball, and she will get another chance.
That's keeping Jason Goldie out in short right field over there in foul territory, working the camera, waving to Jonathan Melendez, the other camera person, saying, I'm okay, but got to stay on your toes. He's in the field of play, and that was certainly a hot shot off the bat of Cameron.
Cameron hits it towards first, and the first baseman will tag the base, Sienna Mraz, and that's an out for Corona del Sol.
Yeah, again, I really like the location of the pitch from Munoz on the outside corner. Cameron, all she could do is just get the end of her bat on it, and it's just a little number that goes over to first base. Mraz easily able to step on the bag. And again, Munoz, what can you say? 8 up, 8 down.
And here comes the Toros pitcher, Campos, and she's up to bat. Campos did not like that one. That's the first ball against her count. And it looked too high for her, but it's going to be ruled as a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike against the pitcher, Campos. Munoz finds the outside, and it is going to be another ball.
Good spot there on that pitch, trying to paint the upper part of the outside corner, just missing on that one. But she's been effective doing that to right-handed batters so far.
And a slow pitch, and Campos swings. And that's 2 balls, 2 strikes here against Campos.
Yeah, how about that dipper from Munoz? Again, she mixes it up well with going to the outside fastball and doesn't have to paint a location, but instead able to fool the batter in Campos to level the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Campos swings but does not find the ball, and she will be out. And that will send Corona del Sol back to the plate with their sticks. And right now, 7-0 here at Mountain View High School in Mesa, Arizona. The Aztecs have found nothing but an answer against these Toros.
Yeah, and what you're looking on your screen right now, a 7-0 lead for Corona. 6 of the runs in the top half of the second inning for the roadside Aztecs. 3 errors also all came in the top of the second. So again, not all of the 7 runs earned for Brenna Campos, who jogs out to the mound, taking the ball for what's going to be her 4th frame of work. And her team in a bit of a hole. She settled down last inning, able to get her first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon. Seems like she's settling in after that inning, but again, with your team down in a hole, all you can do is expect to just continue to throw strikes, get some outs, and hope that your offense is able to pick up the bats. And as you're looking on your screen, this stream is brought to you by the Varsity Media Foundation. Tune into our local radio show Saturdays at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. locally on KDUS AM 1060 radio.
That's right. And now Pequeno for the Aztecs will take the batter's box against Campos, who earlier struck out. And we're going to see if Pequeno can put this ball into play. And it's a strike. Pequeno up to the left fielder and caught, and that is an out against the Aztecs as Dinyazi caught that one. And now Peters will come back to the batter's box to face off against Campos.
And she got everything going in the top half of the first after a double, able to get a run scored. So Fishy 1 for 1 her second time up. A grounder to the third baseman resulted in an E5.
And Peters finds right field, but dropped by the right fielder as Peters heads to second and makes it. Richard will now take the plate to try and hit her teammate to an advanced base.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an unorthodox double. Why? Because the ball bounced just in front of the right fielder in Cameron, and it seemed like the batter was going to stop after first, but she darted for second base, that being Peters again, and it's her second double of the game.
One strike against Richard. And Campos low, but Richard hits it towards left, and it is a live ball as Peters rounds the bases, making her way home, and Richard to second, and she will stop. An RBI for Richard as number 10 for the Aztecs makes her way to the batter's box, and that is Tamaro.
Yeah, this Corona del Sol lineup just able to find all the gaps, and that one as small as can be as it went between Metcalf, the third baseman, and just barely hugging the third base line, getting all the way into the outfield. So back-to-back doubles for Corona del Sol as they're now at 8-0.
And a strike against Tamaro, who earlier had an RBI in her last up to bat. And you need to remember now Corona del Sol has gone through their lineup multiple times.
Yeah, they're up for the third time.
Tamaro to shortstop caught, and that will leave Richard at second and send Sheehan up to bat, and that is Jamie Sheehan.
It's not often that you see a lot of lineouts, especially into the infield. Also, at the hot corner, in terms of Goodman at shortstop, able to make the catch. A nice job at second base by Rickert to hold up and not extend herself too far off the bag.
Jamie Sheehan looking for a strike, but the first one is a ball. And Richard looking to advance on the bases. almost past the catcher of the Toros, Eaton, but it is stopped, which leaves Richard at second. I believe James actually went to second as a runner. That's correct. James at second. And a walk.
Yeah, 4-pitch walk, not exactly what you want. She's going to have to settle down and hit the strike zone here. There are 2 away, and coming up to the plate for the 3rd time, the other Sheehan and Brooke, the second baseman.
Brooke Sheehan with 2 runners on the base. And right now 8-0 here. Aztecs up. The first pitch is a strike against Sheehan. Sheehan to third, which forces the runners to move, and she will be out at first, which will send it to the Mountain View Toros taking the bats. And we're going to head to a break, and after the break, we're going to see how the Toros, if they have an answer for Corona del Sol. We will be right back here in just a moment.
Hey folks, J.R. Lambright here, special field correspondent for the Varsity Sports Show. Join me every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific for JR's Texas Tales, where I share stories of Texans who triumphed over adversity and gave back to their local communities. Tune in for a bit of gritty edification on KDUS AM 1060, Arizona.
When you think of family restaurants and sports bars, think Bonfire. Bonfire is part of the Tempe landscape, supporting local schools. Join the Bonfire Booster Club Challenge. Mention Corona del Sol, Desert Vista, Marcos de Niza, Mountain Point, or Valley Christian, and that school's sports program will earn loyalty points. The winner after football season will earn a fundraiser at Bonfire. Come for the food and fun, support the community. Bonfire, open every day east of I-10 on Warner. Show your game ticket all day Friday and Saturday and get 15% off. 480-306-6801.
We are back here, and Munoz is looking to find the strike zone against the Toros. And the first pitch is going to be a ball.
Yeah, back to the top of the lineup for the 2nd time, despite it being the 4th inning. So far, again, Munoz is perfect through the entire batting lineup of Mountain View.
And Goodman does not swing on the first one, but she's looking to get a strike in her zone. And that is another ball. Actually, it was ruled a strike, a very high strike. But she's looking for one right down the middle against Munoz. Munoz winds up and finds the outside. Another strike is thrown, and that will be against Goodman.
Yeah, I really like her approach pitching, and also just to mention at shortstop in Montenegro playing more over towards third base a little bit. There's quite a bit of room between the bag itself and where Montenegro's actually playing at shortstop.
Munoz down low, but Goodman swings, and she will run towards first, but she is out. 1 out for the Aztecs here against the Toros, and Benjamin will get a chance to make her way onto base.
Yeah, and that's 6 strikeouts now for Munoz, that time forcing Goodman out in front, making an awkward, unconfident swing. She is just rolling. What else can you say for Munoz on the mound for the Aztecs?
And Benjamin likes the first one, but goes over it a little bit, and it's a strike. Munoz looking to figure out which pitch she is going to throw against Benjamin, and Benjamin likes that one, but it is a little slow, and another strike against Benjamin.
Yeah, I mean, she's really fooling these Mountain View Toros batters in terms of on the high ball to where they're a little bit behind, and then on the off speed, they're a little bit too far out in front. She's really having her way right now.
Benjamin watches, and it's the first ball against her count. Munoz will step back to have a little bit of a breather before she goes back onto the mound to throw against Benjamin, the center fielder for the Toros. And down low as it comes rolling in, the second ball against Benjamin. Munoz powers through right down the middle, Benjamin to center, and caught by Sage Peters, the center fielder. 2 outs here for the Aztecs.
And that was the hardest hit ball by a mile for Mountain View. And again, the center fielder and Peters able to go back on it, jump up just slightly to come up with the grab. We've seen a lot of ground outs, certainly a lot of strikeouts. Not a lot of balls by air going into the outfield, and the one time it does, the Aztecs defense plays it perfect.
Metcalf, the third baseman for the Toros, will head up to bat, and Munoz looking to throw some more like that last one. Munoz winds up and finds a ball.
And again, with the success of Munoz, she's now almost through 4 innings of perfect ball. Again, she has not allowed a single base runner, but she's got to act as if this is a close game. She just having to catch with her and her catcher and Rickert, just taking one batter, one strike at a time.
Metcalf looking for a pitch in her strike zone, does not find one but swings, and it will be a strike against her. 1 ball, 1 strike here against Metcalf with 2 outs in the 4th inning. And Metcalf watches it as it goes sailing past her very high, and that's going to be a ball.
I think the most effective pitch so far the last couple innings has been the off speed. Would love to see her go back to that. Certainly getting the Toros batters to chase every single time. That one a little bit too low. Looked like she totally missed the mark on that one. Don't know exactly what she was trying to go for, but it's a 3-ball count. She's got to battle back.
Both the batter and the pitcher looking for a breather here. And Metcalf getting ready to power through as Munoz throws another ball. And Metcalf will head to first base. Munoz has her first runner on the bases, and that will bring up Sylvester, the first baseman for the Toros, to bat.
Yeah, Mountain View down by a lot. Certainly a positive sign. And from Munoz finally allows her first base runner. And if that thought of staying perfect was in the back of her mind, she can certainly settle down just a little bit, knowing that there's just one more out to get out of the inning, and her team's still up by 8 runs.
Sylvester swinging at the first one, but a foul ball. And Metcalf very eager to advance here. Sylvester to the pitcher and Munoz to the first baseman, and that's going to end the inning here for the Toros. And Kobe, it's been a, an amazing game. Munoz just allowed her first base runner, and it's been a very long game for her as she's been trying to keep that perfect game today. And the Toros down by 8-0 here at Mountain View High School. Aztecs up. And as we mentioned coming into this game, a very close record between the two teams. Corona del Sol 5-11, Mountain View 6-10. Kobe, what are you thinking?
Well, first off, Munoz. I mean, she's been outstanding, and I think it's also very impressive after an extended second inning to where maybe a pitcher could get out of their rhythm a little bit, and her team at that point was up 7-0. The lead has now swelled to 8-0, but in a way, she was sitting for a long time. That could mess with your rhythm, and also the fact that she didn't allow a single base runner through 3 2/3 innings. She was able to surrender just a walk, and after that, settle down with a ground out directly to her, and Munoz was able to throw it on to Mraz easily, and she, again, has been absolutely stellar. 7 strikeouts, no hits, 1 walk officially in terms of the stat sheet right now for Munoz.
We are now in the 5th inning here in this matchup against between Mountain View High School and Corona del Sol High School, and Mraz will head up to bat against Campos, who will stay on the mound for the Toros despite a 8-0 lead. And Mraz ready to find some strikes in her zone, and that first one will be ruled as a strike.
Mraz, no hit so far, 0 for 1, hit by a pitcher first time, and she grounded out to Goodman her second time. That time a hit, though.
Mraz to center, and the center fielder for the Toros caught the ball, Benjamin, and that will send Mraz back to the dugout as her teammate, number 8, Jones, will come to the plate to do the same thing that Mraz just did.
Yeah, Benjamin left forward to make the catch. Got a little bit overzealous. I thought for sure that was going to get in there for a single, but again, a great catch by Benjamin in center field, and that potentially stops a double if it's able to get past her and get all the way to the center field wall.
And a high one towards the outside of Jones. That first pitch is going to be called as a ball. And Campos looking to find her strike zone again in this 5th inning. And she does. A strike against Jones.
Nice breaking ball up and in there, not necessarily towards the inside or outside half of the zone, but it's able to catch just the top of it to level the count at 1.
Campos very high over the head of Jones, and that's going to be a second ball thrown against Jones. And another ball very high. Pitches thrown against Jones here as she steps away to have a little bit of a break. Campos winds up and throws another ball, sending Jones to first base as her teammate Montenegro, the shortstop for the Aztecs, will come up to the plate to bat.
And there's been a lot of batters that have reached, but believe it or not, here in the top of the 5th, that's actually the first reaching on a base on balls, and it's a form of Jenna Jones, a second baseman, or rather third baseman, standing at first, hoping to spark another rally and potentially push it to double digits.
And Campos high and towards the outside as Jones is at first base, taking a big lead off of the base to advance the bases here in the 5th inning with 1 out. And a ball for Cameron.
After Montenegro in the 9-hole, going back up to the top of the lineup for the 4th time here in only just 4 1/3 innings so far.
Montenegro looking for a strike, and she finds it, but it is hit down, and she will get another chance.
Montenegro 1 for 2 with a single her first time up, and she grounded out to Metcalf at third base her second time.
Montenegro watches that one as her teammate goes to second, and it is safe after the tag by the shortstop of the Toros, Goodman.
It's a stolen base for Gemma Jones. She's got a lot of that dirt on those black pants, but she darted for second base, got a great jump.
And Campos throws a strike in there for Montenegro, but it is hit towards left, and it is a foul ball as Jones takes another big lead off of the second base, looking to advance to third.
Yeah, that time it was off the end of the bat for Montenegro, just a little bit early right there as we get a payoff.
Montenegro hits right to third. Jones stops, and that will send Montenegro to first. After the overthrow by the third baseman, Jones will round the bases to go home, and Montenegro makes it to third. And that will bring the score 9-0 here at Mountain View High School. Aztecs up, and Pequeno will come up to the batter's box to bring home Montenegro.
Yeah, that was a risk, and it didn't pay off for Metcalf there. She could have got the out at first base. She did the right thing in charging the base runner in Jones. Just the throw had a lot of mustard on it to bark at second base. It was just too hot. And Gemma Jones able to round third, get to home. And then all of a sudden now on third base after just really a grounder to shortstop is Montenegro.
A very high strike for the first pitch against Pequeno. Pequeno hits it to second, and she is out at first, but brings home Montenegro, who is on third base.
Yeah, Mountain View did the right thing there. They took their medicine. They have 2 outs now. They're able to get the force at first base. And if the runner scores, the runner scores. And that's exactly what happened for Montenegro on third base. But the fact that they're just one more out away from ending the 2 runs that came on the board for Corona del Sol here in the bottom of the 5th will certainly help.
Peters at the plate looking to bring in some more points for the Aztecs. And the first ball that was thrown from Campos was a strike. And the second one hit right to Campos. Campos to the first baseman of the Toros, Benjamin, and actually the first baseman is Sylvester. And we are going to head to a break after this very high lead by the Aztecs, 10-0 here at Mountain View High School. We will be right back.
Okay. All right, so
Miami is at Kansas City.
They'll be facing the 6th-seeded North Valley Christian Academy.
Number 30.
Varsity Sports Show replay. Perfect play design on second down and 7. Bray unloading downfield.
Looking deep, he's looking for Jack Freeberger, and he has him open for the touchdown. Just like that, a 44-yard touchdown to Jack.
This is Bobby Murphy here with Varsity Sports Show at Arizona College Prep.
I'm here with Coach Jason Jewell after an extremely gritty 14.
Pioneers. Shay, what did you see from the SaberCats tonight?
We are back here on the Varsity Sports Show at Mountain View High School in Mesa, Arizona. Eaton is up to bat against the Aztec pitcher Munoz. And the first pitch thrown against Eaton is going to be a ball. The Toros looking to put some runs on the board here in Mesa, Arizona.
And if you need a storyline for you, during this game so far, Corona del Sol's lineup, everybody has come up at least 3 times. And for Mountain View, they're just making their way through their second trip around the lineup, and they've just reached the midway point with Eaton at the plate.
Eaton finds and watches a strike, the first strike against her count, as she now has 1 strike and 2 balls. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And we also haven't mentioned Munoz so far early in this bottom half of the 5th inning, but she's working on a no-hitter with 7 strikeouts too.
And another ball for Eaton.
Yeah, the catcher and Rickert try to do a frame job, and it just missed the mark on that one, said the home plate umpire. Another 3-ball count. Pretty rare that we've seen Munoz in this spot. She's capitalized on it a couple times, unable to as she walked her first batter in Metcalf. We'll see what she does here.
Eaton watches that one as it goes down by her feet. She will make her way to the first base, and that will send her teammate Bark out to bat.
Yeah, so the last time that she issued a walk in the bottom half of the 4th inning, it came with 2 outs already on the board. This time there is no one out. So potentially a sign of life here for Mountain View, but they certainly got to prove it here at the plate.
Bark showing a bunt, and it will be a foul ball against Bark.
And some laughing going on from the Corona del Sol fans as Coach Thornton of the Aztecs comes to check on her catcher and Rickard, who says, "I'm okay. Thank you for checking in." And about to get underway here with the 0-1 count, no outs, and a runner on first.
Munoz throws to the catcher, and Bark watches it as it's very high. Another ball for Bark. 1 ball, 1 strike is Bark's count, and a runner at first for the Toros. Munoz looking for the right pitch to throw, and right down the middle, a slow one, but hit by Bark towards the left side of the field as it is rolled foul.
An early swing there from Bark, try to drive it down the third baseline, and it was just foul. Toros, though, haven't attempted a stolen base because they've only had 2 runners on base so far in the entire game. So potentially this could be an opportunity to get aggressive on the base pass.
Munoz very up high, and it is a ball for Bark, sending her count to 2-2. Another high one for Bark, and it will send Eaton to second base as she stole on the miscatch by the catcher of the Aztecs.
It's going to be ruled as a wild pitch there. The first from Munoz so far, and it came at a time to where there was a runner at first, and finally the Toros here in the bottom half of the 5th able to have a runner in scoring position in the form of Tatum Eaton.
And Bark, a foul ball to first, caught in the foul zone by the first baseman, which will be an out against the Toros. And number 9 for the Toros, Davis, will make her way to the plate to try and advance the runner on second for the Toros to get some points on the board.
Going back to that catch from Mraz, it was a nice one. Wasn't able to catch it above her head, but instead at about belt height with her glove pointing up. So she certainly made it harder than it looked, but she was able to still come up with it for the first out on the board here in the bottom of the 5th.
Davis swings, and that's going to be her first strike in her count. With a runner on second, Davis swings again, foul ball, and she's going to get another shot at advancing this runner and making her way onto the bases.
Just 0 for 1 so far with a strikeout, one of 7 strikeout victims so far for Munoz.
And very high and to the outside for Davis, and that's going to be counted as a ball. Davis foul as she battles with 2 and 2.
Able to barely just get a piece of it that time.
Munoz throws, and another ball for Davis, which will send this to a full count as Eaton is still on second base looking to advance, and Davis looking for the perfect pitch but still in here ready to battle. Munoz throws and swung on by Davis. She's going to be out, and Eaton will remain on second base, hoping for her teammate, Cameron, to get some action going.
Yeah, that's now 8 strikeouts for Munoz. That was a fun battle between her and Dylan Davis. Davis able to stay alive a couple of times, just barely getting a piece of foul balls. She's on the wrong end of a battle, but Munoz, again, has had her way. She continues to, as she's heading towards potentially a double-digit strikeout afternoon.
Munoz with 1 strike against Cameron. Cameron with a ball.
Camera's a little angled, lopsided. Check the balance on it, the bubble. There you go.
Cameron watches, and it's going to be ruled as another ball.
Yeah, that was pretty close. It got a chuckle from Munoz on the mound. And if she's down to the count 2 balls and 1 strike, she's been delivering all night, and I'm sure this is a very comfortable spot for her to just throw in another strike and just like that change the momentum here in this at-bat.
Up high, and that will send the count to 3 balls, 1 strike against Cameron's count. Munoz winds up, throws, and it is a high changeup.
Oh, and I think a miscommunication. It was certainly close on the pitch. It was a late strike call, and Abby Cameron tossed her bat towards the Toro dugout, but she's going to have to dig in, step back up to the batter's box with a payoff to come.
3 balls, 2 strikes, full count for Cameron here. And another changeup. Cameron swings, and that will send the Toros into the dugout to get their gloves. And the Aztecs, actually, I believe this game is over. The Aztecs 10-0 here at Mountain View High School in Mesa, Arizona. And that is the final score of today's game. And the Aztecs will have a record of 6-11 as they move on to play their next game against Desert Ridge High School, and Mountain View will play on April 2nd against Mesa High School. Thank you for tuning in to the Varsity Sports Show. I am Alexandra Medina alongside Kobe Bronstein. Have a great night.